Welcome back to Collier Farm. So as you can see, I've done it again. We have another Maytag 72D picked up last week from a farm in Fort Washington, Pennsylvania. Very good condition motor. Seems to be pretty much complete, near as I can tell, and came with a skid. This motor is a little different than our last one. We actually have a pulley on this one, ready to go to power your washing machine or small feed mill or whatever source you may need power for. 2 Champion spark plugs. Unfortunately, they're not Maytag. I wish they were. Reason to believe this is actually a untouched motor. Possibly it's an earlier restoration, but the paint, as you can see, is very black. All these motors were shipped from the factory with black paint. It seems really old, and also has a pretty good decal on the back and also a pretty good decal on the side. Looking over the motor, it appears all the bolts have been untouched by wrenches. So as I said earlier, it's either original paint, original decal, with the exception of the shield, of course, over the kickstart gearing, or it's a very early restoration. I brought this motor home from the Fort Washington area, arrived 8 o'clock at night. By 2 in the morning I had it going with a couple breaks for dinner and such. A little bit of Olympics going on too, so watch that. This motor started for me on the first kick with a little bit of starting fluid. And once we got it fine-tuned, it made power for us. Originally it was just idle, but I ended up adjusting the mixture screw on the side, and it made a very decent amount of power. A little bit different from our last one. These motors typically break on the mounting collar. That would be on the outside of the actual kickstart pedal, or shaft if you will. Typically right in here. Our last motor had a pretty significant break right here. This one does not, which again leads me to believe that it's, if not an earlier restoration at some point in its history, than a original motor. Pretty much untouched, except for the skid, of course, and the spark plugs. Spark plug wires look to be very old, very original. A lot of times these wires are done, rewired. It does feature the Esselman magneto, which of course can be a downside. Those coils were known to go bad, were not very reliable. Maytag replaced these with Wilcos at some point in the manufacturing process or the run of the engine, but this one's an Esselman, and very hot spark. Like I said, brought it home, first kick, it fired with starting fluid. Also has the flange to mount the flex tube for the exhaust. Our other motor did not have that. This is a 1940 build, so it's a pre-World War II Maytag. Again, makes it a little bit more desirable than the post-war Maytags. Remember, production was stopped for World War II. And there's the serial number indicated on the flywheel. Again, also has the pulley. A lot of folks took these off. As you can see, they're somewhat of a challenge to get on the crankshaft threading, but this one has it ready to go. This motor is for sale. The ask price is $235. That is an ask. Willing to negotiate a little bit, but a motor in this condition, no breaks, no cracks, no welds, and as I said, either an earlier restoration or an original motor. Just check the prices on eBay, and $235 I think is pretty reasonable. So let's see if we can't give it a kick and see if it'll start for us. The motor has not been run. You can see I have my hand on the cylinders. Remember, these are air cooled. Also another good test for a cold motor to see if it'll fire right away. So let's see what we get.